Most people ruin their black and white landscape images by moving some sliders all the way to the left. They take a beautiful color image, hit desaturate or move some sliders, and then wonder why it looked flat, lifeless, and boring. But here's the truth, everyone. Black and white isn't about removing color. It's about replacing color with light and contrast. So today, guys, I'm going to show you how to turn your color landscape images into beautiful black and white works of art. And once you understand this, you'll never look at color the same way again. So think in light and not color. In a color image, blue skies separate from a green field. Warm light separates from cool shadows, and color contrast does half the work for you. But in black and white, everything becomes tone. So everyone, before you convert anything, ask yourself, where is the light coming from? What is the brightest part of the frame? What is the darkest anchor? And where does the eye travel? So if the image doesn't have strong light and shadow, it probably won't make a strong black and white image. So everyone, if you want to learn how to turn your color landscape images into beautiful black and white works of art, stay with me till the end of the video and I'll show you how you can achieve that.
Hi everyone and good afternoon, and today I'm going to do some black and white photography. I'm going to shoot the image behind me here. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see much better. And I'll be shooting something like this. We have our foreground here leading up to the church and the tower there. Great day for black and white shooting. I won't be using a tripod. I'll just be doing some handheld shooting. I'm going to take the shot quickly because all these clouds will soon disappear. Well, I'll see you all back in the studio, guys, and we'll be editing the shot together in black and white.
Well, here we are in Camera Raw, everyone. Using Lightroom is just the same. And this is the image I took when I was on location. And as you can see, we have the light source coming from the right side here. As I explained, always check your light source from which direction it's coming from. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to crop the image. But before I crop the image, I'm going to increase the megapixels by going down to the detail here. And I'm going to choose super resolution. Because if I crop too much, we're going to get around 15 megapixels, which won't give us a sharp image. So I'm just going to click super resolution. And we're going to let Camera Raw do its job. Well, Camera Raw has finished increasing the resolution, the megapixels, and as you can see down here, we've gone up to 104 megapixels. So now I'm going to go and crop the image. I'm going to head over to the crop tool. I'm going to click here to open the padlock and crop where I want it. And I think I'm going to go somewhere like this. And as you can see, the megapixels are getting lower and lower. Gonna crop a bit of the sky. Just a touch more from this side. A bit more of the sky. And as you can see, we've gone down to around 55 megapixels. So this is where I want the image. I'm just going to head back up here. And now the first thing we're going to do, or the second thing, is never just remove saturation. And by that I mean do not go down to the color mixer here and reduce all the reds, the yellows, oranges, greens, until you remove all the color in the image. I'm just going to reset these. Or just don't go down to the color and remove saturation from here, because then you won't be able to control those tones in the image, because each color has different tone on your image. Or else just don't click black and white here, because you get a flat image also. I'm going to set it back to color. So my method of changing your color images to black and white is quite simple, and I'm going to show you the best and effective way you can use. But first, like I say in my other videos, we're going to increase all the color in the image. We don't have that much color in the image, right? But we're still going to do it just the same. And first thing I'm going to do of changing it, increasing the color, is I'm going to press auto here. And there we have our perfect histogram here. I'm just going to increase the blacks to get rid of the clippings. And I'm going to reduce the exposure just a bit. I like pressing auto because camera roll will give me the best option I have, and then I just tweak the sliders how I want. And next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to head down to the effects panel. I'm going to increase a touch of texture, not too much, because we'll be increasing noise, a bit of clarity, and just a touch of dehaze also. That will give us some nice cloud texture here in the image as well. So I'm going to head down to the detail next, and I'm going to increase the sharpening all the way up to around 60-ish, something like that. I reduce the radius, increase the detail, hold down your Alt key on your keyboard, and increase the masking to sharpen the image where the white parts are. Next thing, I'm going to increase more of the colors in the image. I'm going to head down to the blue primary and increase, if you want, all the way up to there, and it's going to give us a really colorful image. Way too much for my liking, so I'm just going to reduce it to just above halfway. And there we have our color image, guys. So the next thing I'm going to do, first I'm going to remove the clippings again here. I'm going to try the blacks. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to head down to open here, and we're going to take it to Photoshop, where we're going to change it to black and white. And you can see the amazing difference we get. So now we're over in Photoshop, and for those who know my method, I'm just going to head down to the adjustments layer down here, and I'm going to click on black and white, and it's going to turn it into black and white. Now this is what I meant when I say you can adjust each color for each separate tone in the image. I mean, if you change the reds, move the slider down, you can see we're brightening each part of the reds here. And they all have separate tones. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try press auto here. And it gave me that setting. If you want, just head back like that. And I'm going to try using the individual sliders and see where it gets. I'm going to leave the reds there, try the yellows, and you can see the amazing changes when you use this method. I'm going to increase, double back to where you were, and you can increase or decrease to your liking. I'm going to try the greens now. And you can see each color is affecting different parts of the image. And you're adjusting the tones to where you want them. Double click to where it was. And I'm going to increase the greens a bit more like that. Try the cyans. Whoa, and you can see the amazing difference you get here. Double click to where you want, and I think I'm gonna reduce the cyan here to around there. Now we're gonna try the blues, and you can see the incredible difference you get with the blues. Don't go too much, because then your image will look fake. Double click to it so it sets back to the original position, and I'm gonna darken the blues to around there. I'm going to try the magenta now. Not much on the magenta, so I'm just going to double click and leave it where it is. I'm going to show you the before and after. I'm just going to press this eyeball with the curved arrow here. And as you can see, we have already set our black and white image to a much better tonage. So I'm going to close here again, and I'm going to show you another trick I have by going down to the adjustments layer, and I'm going to click on gradient map. And you opened another layer. As you can see, Photoshop is quite easy. Just follow my method and you'll get the hang of it for sure. And we have another black and white image, but I'm going to go to this drop down window and click on classic here. And that's my favorite part here, clicking on classic instead of linear or even perceptual. I just use classic. And now I'm going to close here. And I'm going to show you the before and after by using the gradient map here. And it's given us a much better black and white image. Plus we have the black and white layer here also. Now I'm going to take these over to Photoshop, but I'm going to close the layers by pressing on these lines here and click flatten image. And I'm going to take it back over to Camera Raw, or if you're using Lightroom, back over to Lightroom. And I'm going to press Camera Raw. So now we're back in Camera Raw, everybody. And our next move is to either tweak these sliders once again. If I press Auto, I'm going to see the change. But I don't like it, so I'm just going to go back. And I'm going to decrease the highlights a bit, not too much, somewhere like that here. And you can see we're getting a really fantastic image, guys. Use this method and you won't be disappointed. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to choose any of these tools here. I'm just going to head straight over to the masking, and you're going to see where the magic begins. And I'm going to select linear gradient from here. And I'm going to cover the top part of the sky here. I'm going to move it down to somewhere there, and I'm going to decrease the exposure to around there. I'm going to use another linear gradient for the sky, and I'm just going to cover the top part to somewhere there and decrease the exposure even more. Next, I'm going to use another linear gradient, and I'm going to place it over the foreground to about there. And we'll be balancing out the image like this. Now don't forget we have our light source from the right side here. And I'm going to use another mask, and it's going to be a radial gradient. Don't worry about the clippings on the histogram, because don't forget this is black and white. And you can crush your blacks just a bit. So I'm going to use a radial gradient, and I'm going to target the sea, because I'm going to target the sea here. I'm going to increase the light on the sea here. And like this, we'll be doing some dodging and burning also. And I'm going to increase the exposure to around there. Open it up a bit more. Increase it just a touch more to about there. Next, I'm going to use another radial gradient, guys, and I'm going to place it to where the light source was coming from, and the sun was somewhere around here or more further back. But I'm going to place the radial gradient out of the frame to where I reckon the sun was shining from. This was an afternoon shot, early afternoon, so it was quite high in the sky. And I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to move it further back a bit, increase it just a touch more, too much, just subtle movements. And I'm going to head down to the dehaze, and I'm going to decrease the dehaze to get that hazy look in the image. So the next thing I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to use one more mask, and I'm going to place it somewhere here. And like I said in the intro, we'll be leading the viewer's eye to the center of the image. I'm going to invert the mask, but I'm going to move it out a bit to the right side because we have the light source from the right side. And I'm going to decrease the exposure to around there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to head out of everything, and I'm going to decrease the image size, and I think we're about ready, guys, from this image. And you can see we have a great black and white arty image. Not fine art because we don't have long exposure, but you can say it's black and white art. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from this and use this method. And like I said before, you won't be disappointed. Well, thank you. Please share the video, a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about black and white. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one.